Am I live? Are we good? Are we going? My other screen hasn't updated yet. Let me refresh it. Are we good? Okay. Are we going? We're live. My other screen hasn't updated yet. Let me refresh it. Are we good? I'm just hold on, wait. We're live. Oh, my other screen hasn't updated yet. I should mute that. There we go. Okay. We're not going to have feedback issues. So the plan today is to read through as much of Justice League, A Golden Opportunity as I can. I'll try to, I guess, if there's audience questions or anything that come in throughout, I'll try to take breaks like in between chapters or whatever to chit chat with you guys. But yeah, so I guess we'll just go ahead and hop into it. Let's see, back of the book, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, The Flash, Martian Manhunter. Together they are the Justice League, 7 superheroes working together to save the world. A golden opportunity. A mysterious golden crown delivered to Clark Kent causes Superman to go weak and traps him in a giant cocoon. When the cocoon opens, it is a transformed golden Superman who emerges with no memory of his previous life, not even of Lois Lane. Will Batman and the rest of the Justice League be able to conquer ancient magic to get their friend back? I've never even read the back of this book. I've had it in my collection for so long, so that's interesting. I'm really interested to crack it open. According to DCAnimated.com, this is the 8th in a series of, I think, 9 or 10 books. The first being an adaptation of Secret Origins, and then everything after that being exclusive stories just through these books. I've got Secret Origins, and I've got one other from this series, but I figured, just grab the one I've had longest. So I'm hoping there's not a lot of continuity with the, the other books that came before it. But yeah, let's go ahead, crack it open, take some notes. Wait. Oh, wait. I was going to record audio. That way we'd have like an audiobook version of this. So let me start that before I forget. And okay, we're good. Awesome. So it starts with a for the world's finest fans, you, the readers of the Justice League. Special thanks to Rich Fogel for the idea. Keith Dameron, Bruce Timm, and Warner Bros. Animation for merging the Arthurian and DC mythology so beautifully on the Justice League animated show. Marissa Walsh of Random House for her input, and Paul Kupperberg of DC Comics for his encouragement and help in shaping the tale. So with that talk about the Arthurian legends, I feel like perhaps this is going to be after like A Night in Shadows, where we saw, the origin of Jason Blood and all of that. So that's interesting. Prologue. Simon Rose was glad he had decided to take the job as the night security guard at the... I'm not very good at reading. Simon Rose was glad he had decided to take the job as the night security guard at the Ancient Treasures, one of Metropolis's finest antiquities galleries. Since the death of his wife Lillian 18 months earlier, this retired Metropolis police officer it says had twice. Had. Okay, that makes sense. The retired Metropolis police officer had no idea what to do with himself. He managed to fill his days with hobbies and friends, but the nights were unbearably lonely. When a friend had recommended him for this job, he figured he'd give it a try. He was still on his own, but as a lifetime lover of antiques, the idea of being among these prized items brought him some comfort, and he once again felt as if he was a useful member of society. Simon took pride in his new task, protecting priceless artifacts and works of art from ancient civilizations. He was giving something back to the hobby he so adored. Simon strolled up and down the long aisles of the gallery, which had been converted from an abandoned factory years earlier to create this combination antique store and museum. He trained his powerful flashlight beam on the furniture, paintings, and small items brimming with beauty and history. As he approached a short wooden stand on which on which rested a hinged gray box. A jolt of pain shot through Simon's head. Ah! He cried, clutching his temples and dropping to his knees as searing energy scalded his mind. Was this it? The dreaded stroke that he and his friends often joked about to keep the terror at bay? Would he soon be joining his late wife, his lost love? Just as suddenly as it had arrived, the pain stopped. Breathing heavily, Simon regained his feet, wiping the sweat from his forehead with the back of his sleeve. Unexpected footsteps from behind a large oak dresser startled him and quickly turned his attention away from the painful episode. "Who's there?" he shouted, waving his light toward the broad piece of furniture. I've been congested, and it's like hitting the back of my throat a little bit. So it's not helping me read or talk in general. A woman stepped from behind the dresser. As her face moved into the bright beam of Simon's flashlight, he gasped in disbelief. Lillian? He stammered at the sudden appearance of his dead wife. But that's impossible. How can you be here? This is insane. I need you to do one last thing for me, Simon, my darling, the woman said in a whispered voice. You have never refused me anything, but do this one final task and then we can be together again. Forever. With each passing second, the impossibility of his deceased wife standing before him grew less and less important to Simon. His desire to question this apparent miracle faded, and he wished only to be with her and grant her every request. Anything, sweetheart, he said, tears of joy streaming down his leathery face. Tell me what you want. Lillian lifted the gray box from its stand and handed it to her husband. Simon was surprised by the extreme weight of the object, and he rested it against his chest. You must place this into the mailbox on the corner of Green Street and Coon Avenue in downtown Metropolis, she explained. Just that. Then, my love, we will be together. Simon glanced down at the box cradled in his arms. When he looked back up, his wife had vanished. Lillian? He called, but got no answer. Gripping the box firmly, he slipped from the store and hurried down the street. As Simon rushed toward downtown Metropolis, a small part of his mind tried to make some sense of his wife's mysterious appearance and her odd request. But each time he began to question the night's bizarre events, his mind was overwhelmed with thoughts of being reunited with his life's love. As he neared the designated corner, Simon grew curious about the contents of the box. He had, after all, spent 25 years as a cop, and 15 of those as a detective. Soon his curiosity got the better of him. Pausing before the entrance to a massive skyscraper, he lifted the hinged lid of the battered metal box. Instantly, a brilliant light poured from within, stinging his eyes and flooding his mind with a torrent of images. He saw a light-haired boy sitting upon a throne, looking out over the charred ruins of a once great city. He saw armies of slaves, shackled and broken, marching endlessly to war. Finally, he saw the beautiful but cold face of a white-skinned, dark-haired woman cackling mercilessly at the torture of millions. No! He yelled, his cries echoing among the empty concrete canyons of Metropolis at midnight. This box contains evil, pure evil. I can't do this. Not even for you, Lillian. Forgive me, sweetheart. I've got to get help. Must find help. Then, slamming the lid closed, Simon rose, staggered through the entrance and into the dark lobby of the skyscraper before him. Okay, so that's the whole prologue. Usually with Watchtower database note-taking on stuff, we put character appearances into one column. So we've got Simon Rose, his wife, Lillian. I believe those are the only two confirmed characters from the prologue. I think we got mention that he has buddies, and we got mention of these unnamed figures who are likely going to be what are their names from The mom and the son from what A Night of Shadows and Kid Stuff. Can't recall their names off the top of my head, but they're probably going to be in there. I'll wait till their names come into the book itself. Then we have a canon for possible continuity errors that would make the thing non-canon. I didn't come across any in the prologue. Then we have a column for in-show events, which I didn't find any there. Then we have a column for mentions of time. Let's see, what was it? Lillian passed away 18 months ago. So that's our first thing. Let's see. The gallery was an abandoned factory years earlier, or was converted from an abandoned factory years earlier. Was converted from an abandoned factory years earlier. You know, stuff like that isn't likely won't really help us pin anything down, but it's like it's a thing that you never know what could help. So I'm gonna keep that there. Let's see. It said he was a cop for 25 years. Simon was a cop for 25 years and a detective for 15 of those. I think that was all of the mentions of time. Then from that, we have a column for anything that like has a concrete origin within the DCAU. So like say if the bat that's where the bat signal's origin is. Nothing like that came up here. Pop culture, nothing like that came up. Nothing about the weather came up, whether it's, you know, like snowing or if it says a hot summer day or anything like that. Other clues, there's mentions in the foreword about JL bringing the Arthurian legends into canon. Likely after at least one of those episodes. Okay, so there's that. Let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat real quick before, well, hold on. I got a text wrap. And what do you guys got going on in the chat? Oh, there's a lot going on. Oh, there's 8 of y'all here. Hey, guys. That's more than I expected. Is it canon? I have no clue yet. I have never read this book before. I can't read aloud very well. I always stutter while reading. I was about to say you can't spell aloud very well either, but you caught yourself. Boy, am I happy that you're streaming. Hello. Hi, ATM fall off boy. I hope you find your ATM soon. World's greatest detective, Simon is not. You ain't lying. Morgan Le Fay. That's it. Morgan Le Fay and Mordred. I was thinking Mordred was the name, but I almost said Clarion. So it's I know it's not Clarion, but like that was stuck in my head because the Etrigan thing. All right. Well, I think I'm caught up with you guys there. So I'm gonna go into chapter 1. The bright metal globe atop the Daily Planet building glowed red, reflecting the crimson light of the setting sun. As many in that's a period. As many in the great city of Metropolis made the transition from day to night, from work to play, activity within the offices of the planet was reaching its daily fevered crescendo. Reporters hurried to put the finishing touches on stories slated for the edition of the paper that would go to press late that night. Layout artists pieced together the words, photographs, and advertisements that made up the great metropolitan newspaper. In the press room, the people who supervised the printing of the planet prepared for another long night of work, putting the efforts of the rest of the staff onto paper for the city to read the following morning. On the 33rd floor, Lois Lane, veteran reporter for the paper, dashed down a corridor. Her latest story clutched in one hand, her coat and bag dangling from the opposite arm. Lois loved her life as a reporter. It was all she had ever wanted to be, for as long as she could remember. Despite her confident, sometimes cocky attitude, she still woke up some days amazed and thrilled that she was actually a working reporter at the city's top newspaper. A pretty young copy editor with short reddish-brown hair rushed up beside Lois, matching her long steps stride for stride. "Is that your feature on the homeless shelter, Miss Lane?" the woman asked. "The very one, Kate," Lois replied, attempting to slip her coat on without getting either her bag or her story caught in the attempting to slip her coat on without getting either her bag or her story caught in the sleeves. "Ready to read it?" "You bet," Kate said eagerly, taking the papers from her as she helped Lois put her coat on. Any chance to read your stuff, Miss Lane? It's like taking journalism 101. "Thanks, Kate," Lois replied, smiling. "You're sweet." "Rushing off to someplace exciting?" Kate asked, imagining an exotic assignment filled with intrigue or danger. Kate was new on the paper and wanted to be Lois Lane when she grew up. "Oh, not very," Lois replied with an exaggerated touch of modesty. "Just heading over to City Hall for an exclusive interview with the mayor." "Awesome," Kate said, turning left at an intersecting hallway, heading back to her desk. "Can't wait to read it. Good luck." "But first," Lois said, pausing in front of an office door labeled Clark Kent, straightening the collar on her coat, then brushing her stylish black hair from her forehead. I'm going to pay a certain someone a little visit." Yeah, if you guys can't tell, reading out loud is not my strong suit. So if you ever got to see what the Vanishing Point videos look like before they're edited, it's me just stumbling over stuff time and again. There was a little page break, so I'm stopping to put in that we got Lois Lane, Kate, and Clark Kent all in that section. Which I'm going to put Clark Kent dash Superman because, you know, he's going to show up as Superman. He's going to show up as Gold Superman. I've read the back of the book already. Okay. Continuing the chapter. From the moment he had shown up at the Daily Planet, looking for a job that would allow him instant access to information on crime in Metropolis, the better to do his job as Superman, Clark Kent felt himself in competition with Lois Lane. Not that he sought the rivalry. Clark had always considered himself a rather shy, self-effacing farm boy from a small town in Kansas who just happened, in reality, to be the last son of the planet Krypton. But competition was a powerful part of Lois's nature, and in fact, it was one of the many things Clark found attractive and irresistible about her. So he didn't mind when he often found himself caught up in the glorious whirlwind that was Lois Lane. Not in the least. What he did mind at this very moment was the dog of an assignment that he'd been struck with. The Light features editor was on vacation, and Perry White had asked Clark, whose resume included exposés of organized crime, daily journals of alien invasions, and exclusive interviews with Superman, to cover the Metropolis Dog Show earlier that afternoon. What am I going to write that hasn't been written about this a million times before? Clark moaned to himself, shuffling through a stack of glossy photos of dogs of all breeds and sorting his hand-scribbled notes from the event. Shelby, the smooth collie, wins best in show. Who would have thought it? Not me, that's for sure. I've never even heard of a smooth collie. Tack, tack, tack. A knock on the glass section of his door brought momentary relief from the drudgery of Clark's task. Thank goodness for interruptions, he thought. Come in, he said. The door swung open and in walked Lois, her coat buttoned, her bag slung over her shoulder. Hi, Lois, Clark said, brightening as usual at the sight. Hi, Lois, Clark said, brightening as usual at the sight of her. I feel like there's commas there that shouldn't be there. Oh, well. I'll bet you heard about my lousy assignment and you've come to cheer me up. Lois smiled and was about to speak. Clark interrupted her before she could get a word out. No, he continued. You feel so bad for me that you want to see if I'd like to grab some dinner before spending half the night finishing this feature. That would be awfully considerate of me, Clark, Lois replied, maintaining her tight-lipped smile. But completely wrong. I'm here to let you know that, unlike you, I won't be spending half the night at my desk. I am on my way to an exclusive interview with the mayor. She really can't resist competing, Clark thought, shaking his head. I love it. Lucky Lois, interviewing the mayor, he began. While poor Clark is stuck here all night with giant schnauzers and miniature poodles. There's no luck involved, Clark, Lois said. The best reporters get the best stories. Have fun with your puppies. Yeah, thanks, Clark muttered, watching as Lois quickly strode from the office. Hey, how about a rain check on dinner? He shouted after her. Good night, Clark, Lois called back as she disappeared into the elevator. Good night, Lois, Clark mumbled, getting up and closing his door. Dude, audiobooks have to be hard to record. Returning to his desk, he turned back to his dog show notes. Rain check? Sounds great, Clark. Anytime. Yeah, right. Clark sighed, then returned to shuffling through the stack of photos. The hours passed slowly. Clark had a sandwich delivered and ate it at his desk as he plugged away at the feature. As the hour approached midnight, the editorial offices of the Planet emptied out. Quiet settled in, and the only sound even Clark's super hearing could pick up was the dull staccato clacking of his fingers typing at super speed on his computer's keyboard. Shortly after midnight, Clark decided to wrap things up. He was almost finished with the piece and could easily add the final touches in the morning. Shutting down his computer, he gathered his things to leave. Bam, bam, bam! A loud knock startled Clark, who stood and rushed to his door. Bam, bam, bam! The knocker pounded even more urgently. Who in the world? Clark wondered, glancing at his watch, then peering through to the frosted glass. Clark wondered, glancing at his watch, then peering through the frosted glass with his X-ray vision, spotting an old man on the other side leaning against the door. Oh shit, it's probably my boy Simon. Clark flung the door open, and the man stumbled into his office. A look of terror splashed across his wrinkled face. The man's eyes bulged unnaturally, darting wildly around the room. Not safe, he babbled. Evil, pure evil. If it falls into her hands, into their hands, the world, not safe. Then the man pitched forward and fell unconscious into Clark's arms. Easy now, Clark said, placing the man's limp body on a sofa. Then he noticed the gray box that the man clutched tightly in his gnarled, bony hands. Kabash! Without warning, the door to Clark's office exploded, shards of glass and wood spraying everywhere as two enormous creatures rushed in. The beasts stood 8 feet tall and were clad in thick body armor. Their gray skin looked like stone, cracked and craggy. Enormous heads rested atop their massive bodies. They drooled thick streams of yellow saliva from their ape-like jaws protruding from beneath glowing red eyes. Each monstrous creature gripped the thick wooden handle of an enormous battle axe, the sharp blade of which glowed with the same blood-red aura. The sharp blade of which glowed with the same blood-red aura as its eyes. Great Scott! Clark thought in the split second between the creature's explosive entrance into the room and the realization that they were rushing toward the old man on his couch. They look like giant ogres from a fairy tale, Clark thought. He stepped in front of the lead ogre, intending to shove him aside before he reached the unconscious figure. Slamming Clark with his battle axe, the ogre easily swatted him away. The reporter went tumbling over his desk, stunned by the extraordinary power of this beast. Leaping to his feet, Clark Kent swiftly scanned the entire 33rd floor with his X-ray vision. Finding no one else nearby, he tore off his tie, shirt, suit, and glasses, changing into Superman in the blink of an eye. He didn't change into Superman. He just kind of took his clothes off. Streaking across the room, the Man of Steel grabbed one ogre by the neck and tossed him out of the office. The beast tumbled through a large open newsroom, smashing into the far wall, then leaping back to his feet. Superman reached for the second ogre, whose massive hands were closing around the box, still clutched by the unconscious man. The creature turned with greater speed than Superman had thought possible and slammed the Man of Steel with his glowing battle axe. Foop! Again, Superman went tumbling out of control, his mind racing. What are these things? Where did they come from? And what do they want with the old man in that box? Just as he righted himself in midair, Superman heard the footsteps of the ogre he had tossed heading back toward the office. Without turning, the Man of Steel swung his right elbow back, catching the charging creature in the jaw, dropping it once again. By the time Superman flew back into the office, the second ogre was clutching the gray box in his stony fingers. Aye! It roared triumphantly. That's not a very triumphant roar. That sounded kind of sissy. Maybe I guess it's an ogre. I didn't know who was talking first. Maybe it should sound more like aye. It still doesn't sound very triumphant. I need a voice director. Someone get Andrea Romano on the phone. Pouring on as much speed as possible in the limited space between the newsroom and his office, Superman tackled the ogre around the creature's considerable waist, knocking it from its feet and sending the box skittering across the tiled floor with a metallic clatter. After driving the beast into the floor, the Man of Steel turned, anticipating the attack of the other ogre, who did not disappoint. Swinging his battle axe at Superman's midsection, the ogre caught the red and blue-clad hero in the legs as Superman tried to leap out of the way. Superman spun out of control, smashing through what was left of the door frame of the office. As he got to his feet and shook off the latest blow, the Man of Steel saw both ogres greedily grabbing for the box. He swiftly pulled off his cape and sped through the air toward them. Reaching the grotesque duo, Superman whipped his cape around both ogres, gathering its ends together with super speed, scooping up the two beasts as if they were a giant sack of laundry. Maintaining a firm grip on the corners of his cape, Superman spun faster and faster into a blue and red blur. "Arr!" the ogres cried, their roars of rage emanating from the makeshift bag. At precisely the right moment, the Man of Steel released his grip on two of the cape's corners, sending the ogres flying from the office. They tumbled through the air, then hit the floor of the newsroom, skidding across its slick tiles. The momentum of Superman's powerful toss carried the ogres all the way to the doors of the building in the main elevator. Crash! Their rock-like bodies smashed through the closed metal elevator doors. Down they fell, bouncing off the cinder block walls of the elevator shaft, plunging towards the roof of the car, which rested in the lobby, 33 stories below. Why is there a car in the lobby? Plunging towards the roof of the car, which rested in the lobby, 33 stories below. Reattaching his cape, the Man of Steel flew toward the elevator, through the gaping hole in its doors, then straight down the open shaft. When he reached the bottom, the ogres were nowhere to be seen. There's no way they could have gotten out of here, he thought. There's no way they could have gotten out of here, he thought, looking. It ends the sentence of his thought on one page and then continues the actual sentence on the next page. How does someone not trip over reading that? There's no way they could have gotten out of here, he thought, looking around, unable to find any evidence that the beasts had smashed their way out through the thick walls. But they're gone. Could they somehow have made it back to my office? Propelled by this thought, Superman flew swiftly back up the shaft and across the newsroom, landing in his office. There was no sign of the ogres. They vanished, Superman thought, quickly scanning the building with his X-ray vision, but finding no sign of the man or the creatures. How can they all have just disappeared? Then he remembered the box. Superman found the battered box on the floor. Picking it up, he stared intensely at its dull metallic surface, attempting to see into it with his X-ray vision. But no image clarified within his field of vision, just a dull gray blur. Lead, he concluded. It must be made of lead. That's why I can't see through it. Looking closely, Superman realized that the box was not locked. He had just assumed it would be difficult to open. And he wouldn't have wanted to risk tearing it apart for fear of damaging what was inside, or possibly unleashing some unknown danger. Sometimes the solution is right in front of your face, Superman muttered as he slowly opened the hinged lid. Blinding golden light poured from the opening, washing over Superman. Images of death and destruction filled his mind, followed by an overwhelming feeling of tremendous weakness, as though his powers were draining from him, like water leaking through a sieve. Just before the Man of Steel was about to black out, he slammed the lid shut. Gasping, Superman leaned against his desk for support, feeling his sapped strength slowly return. I think it's time to get a little help with this mystery. Okay, so we got a couple more characters at least mentioned in this chapter. I'm not going to add Simon Rose because he was mentioned in the prologue, and since this book's going to be judged as a whole rather than how we do with the comics where we judge them as singular, the book's going to be judged as a whole, so I don't need to repeat Simon Rose for every chapter. Perry White was mentioned at the very least, so I'll put him with brackets saying he was mentioned, and if he actually shows up, I'll delete that later. The mayor was mentioned. I don't know if we have confirmed who the mayor is of Metropolis, but there's that. There was, where is it? Shelby the Smooth Collie. I'm adding that in. We're gonna have to write a bio for Shelby the Smooth Collie. Oh, did I? Oh shoot! I accidentally deleted my. That's okay. Just an undo. Shelby the Smooth Collie mentioned. Whenever the Watchtower database website goes live, look for the page on Shelby the Smooth Collie. We'll be sure to be as in depth as possible. Let's see, and then I guess we've got Ogre number 1, and we got Ogre number 2. Nothing really stood out as being non-canon. I guess like if we want to be nitpicky, Superman says Great Scott instead of Great Row. So I'll put that there. Just like we legitimately go through the nitpicks on our notes and everything. And it's all because we want to be as objective as possible. Like a lot of them are easily explainable, but at the same time, it's just like in case someone brings something up, and says, yeah, well, it can't be canon because of this. It's like, well, I mean, we're already aware of that, and that's not really a canon breaker. Here's an explanation. Let's see, where is the text wrap? Text wrapping wrap. Okay. Still no in-show events. We do have mentioned that Superman's into Lois Lane. He is planning to propose by the time of Superman Adventure 64, but I don't know if that's important to really mention at all. Time. Let's see. Was it the dog show? Was the day before? Was it? No, earlier that afternoon. So dog show was earlier that afternoon. Clark is in his office around midnight. And Simon Rose busts in a little after midnight. No, nothing for our concrete column. I mean, I guess technically we could say like Superman and Lois Lane, since they were both, introduced within Last Son of Krypton. They've got a known intro. No pop culture, no weather. I don't think there were really any other clues. Let me see what you guys are talking about before I hop into chapter 2. Ooh. Oh, y'all are on. Let's see. Ted's here. Ted, you said you had band practice today. What are you doing? Oi, do I look all pixely to you guys? Because my webcam looks fine, but watching back, I look pixely. I don't know what's going on. Did you know 1 week ago people stole an ATM machine with a digger? No, I was unaware of that. I've seen people. I want to say, now that you bring it up, I'm pretty sure I witnessed an ATM theft before. Someone had like come through the mall with just a dolly and just took the mall ATM and dipped because it wasn't like actually plugged into anything. I don't think. I feel like you would have to have that plugged into like some kind of like internet or something, so that it would be able to pick up people's accounts. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it was legit. I don't know. Holy macaroni, my dude! I remember checking these out at my local library in elementary school. I used to read more in elementary school, but I never read these. I was part of the AR program, which stood for Accelerated Reading, and you rack up points, and you can redeem those points for prizes. I would always redeem the points for free pizza. And I think that might have been at the suggestion of my parents, because we were never a rich family. And so poor people need free food more than they need like whatever else Scholastic would be giving out. Did you read Batman Damned and Batman and the Outsiders? I've read the first 2 issues of Batman Damned, and I'm really enjoying it. I understand if people don't, because Brian Azzarello does get kind of edgy. He gets overly sexual with the stuff that he does. The Bruce Wayne penis scene, and the end of, what is it? It was book 2. The end of book 2. It looks like Bruce might be being raped by Harley, like with some weird enchantress stuff going on. I don't know what's going on. It's left open for interpretation, and I'm really hoping that book 3 comes out soon, because it's been left on a cliffhanger for a while, and I'm hoping that it didn't get canceled because of like bad feedback. I'm sure the story's already written and inked and all that, so I don't understand like why they wouldn't put it out. I haven't read Batman and the Outsiders. I've started working on a map of the DC Rebirth continuity, and I haven't gotten around to that yet. Right now I'm just like going through and like scanning all the editor's notes from all of the different comics and everything. I started with Batman, got the editor's notes from that, and then like I put my rules for this project up on Twitter the other day, so you can find them there. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but it's happening. I'm sure I'll get to Batman and the Outsiders eventually. Dog show was afternoon. That is a note. Bless me. Puppies, Jerry the King Lawler. Welcome to the DCAU story series, where Maddie takes DCAU books and reads them dramatically back to you, and then stops and talks to us through a spreadsheet at the end of every chapter. That's the actual fun part. Hey guys, glad you're having fun. You're right, we're freaking nerds, man. Superman, the animated theme song, please. Elevator. What is up with that elevator? There's a car in the lobby of. Why? If you're giving shout outs, I'm the guy that gave you all those lady YouTuber recommendations. Oh, dope. Thanks for that, Mirror Universe Zot. I haven't gone through all of them. I tried to subscribe to every single one that was mentioned in that thread by different people. Interestingly enough, ContraPoints put out a video that day So I watched that, and then I think there's another one that I've been watching. I don't remember. I think Lindsay Ellis was one of them. I watched her video on Aladdin just because I love that movie. It's a little pixely. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. My webcam looks fine, but the grain does not. This is pretty relaxing to listen to when I'm work on my Doom Patrol drawing. I cheated with my friend by we both read a book and took the test for each other. He would read one book, I read another, and we each took the test for each other to meet our requirements. You used the wrong meat there. Just wanted to point that out. But yeah, I get what you're saying. You know, I back when I was in high school, there was tons of way that I kind of, skirted through less than admirably. But it is what it is. High school's not always isn't always that important. I mean it is. It is. Do your job, do your work. But like a lot of it doesn't affect later in life. I'm saying that as someone who dropped out of college 10 years ago and is like just now going back. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Anyway, now that we're caught up in the chat, it's on to chapter 2, which might be the last chapter. We're recording the podcast at like 6, I think. I might do 2 more chapters. But yeah, on to chapter 2. Wait, let me go back to my spreadsheet. There we are. Chapter 2. Beep, beep, beep. A piercing alarm split the Gotham City night. On a side street, the window of a small jewelry store lay smashed in 1,000 bits on the sidewalk, glinting in the glow of a nearby streetlight. Around the corner, in a dark, narrow alley, 5 men dressed in black pants, sweaters, and stocking caps ran as fast as their legs would carry them. Each man clutched a small sack tightly, as if his life depended on it. "I thought you were going to cut the alarm," the first man shouted as he ran, glancing compulsively back over his shoulders, then up toward the foggy rooftops. He knew that in this town, justice did not always come in the form of police officers giving chase from behind. In Gotham City, he knew justice sometimes came swiftly from above. "With that racket, the cops will be here in no time." "No way, man," the second running figure said. "Jim was gonna cut the wire." "Don't blame this on me," the third man said. Who told you to hit that window so hard?" "This is all messed up," cried the fourth man. "Jim, this is all your fault." "That really doesn't matter now, does it?" said a deep voice from above. Oh, shoot. Okay, that's Batman. That's a bad Batman voice. "That really doesn't matter now, does it?" said a deep voice from above. Still not a good Batman voice. That's okay. The disembodied voice seemed to be moving along with the men, like a ghostly shadow matching their strides, no matter how fast they ran. You'll have plenty of time to figure out whose fault it was where you're going." A shadowy caped figure appeared from the fog, materializing out of the misty air, swinging toward the fleeing men. Whomp! The Dark Avenger dropped down on a thin line, slamming into 2 of the robbers' feet first, knocking them into a brick wall on the side of the alley. They crumbled together in a heap. "Batman!" gasped Jim. He ran faster, knowing full well he couldn't outrun the protector of Gotham. Batman landed in front of him. Jim stopped short, then swung the bag he clutched at Batman's head. The Dark Knight ducked easily, twisting into a backward hands-first somersault, driving his feet into Jim's and a second man's chin. They dropped to the ground. The final and fastest member of the quintet of thieves was almost out of the alley and around the corner. Batman pulled a bat bola from his utility belt, and after whirling it several times over his head to build up speed, he whipped it toward the fleeing thief. Whoop, up, 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 up. The weighted balls attached to the end of a rope sped through the air, finding the weapon's target and wrapping around and around the running man's legs, stopping their movement and sending the thief sprawling to the cold, hard pavement. Okay, so I forgot to mention this after finishing chapter 1. But since the Bat Bola thing kind of just did the same thing of wrapping around somebody, how did Superman fit his cape, which is like maybe from the length of his back or the length of his neck to like the back of his knees, around two ogres, enough that he could close it up and swing them around the room? Ogres are pretty big. And that cape doesn't sound like it's big enough to like fit around them. It's like the cape's about the size of a lap blanket, you know? And I have a hard time putting a lap blanket just on me. So it's like, I don't know. That's a weird visual. Maybe James can draw it at some point. Anyway, back to the chapter. Mopping the floor with two-bit thugs such as these took up a surprisingly large amount of Batman's time as the Dark Knight of Gotham. He much preferred detective work, analyzing clues, solving mysteries, but Batman knew that the Gotham City Police Department counted on him, albeit unofficially, to instill fear into the hearts of would-be criminals and to use the ones bold enough to attempt a burglary or mugging as examples to the others of his swift justice. Boo-wee! 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 The sound of police sirens caught Batman's attention. With all five thieves immobilized, his work here was done. He fired a grappling batarang toward the fog-laden rooftop, then scrambled up the brick wall of the alley, vanishing back into the night. As Batman holstered himself up and over the edge of the roof, landing on its smooth asphalt surface, the Justice League comlink and his cowl began beeping. Yes, Batman said crisply over... Yes, Batman said crisply, never one for pleasantries. Batman, the familiar voice of Superman came through the comlink. Got a bit of a mystery here I could use your help with. For many years, the Man of Steel and the Dark Knight had teamed up, combining their skills and talents for such diverse purposes as capturing earthly criminals and fending off alien invasions. Even before the formal establishment of the superhero team known as the Justice League, the two costume crusaders had come to depend on each other. Superman appreciated not only Batman's skill in combat, but also his keen mind and considerable prowess as a detective. Talk to me, Batman said, always intrigued by a mystery, although only an old friend such as Superman could detect any interest from his flat, even tone. The Dark Knight appreciated the amazing abilities of his friend from Krypton. He had learned from experience that the many advantages that a hero with the powers of flight, super strength, and vulnerability, and all the other great gifts that Superman had Oh, okay. All right. Where's the start of that sentence? He had learned from experience the many advantages that a hero with the powers of flight, super strength, and vulnerability, and all the other great gifts that Superman had, could bring to a battle. Superman recounted for Batman the strange episode with the old man, the lead box, and the giant ogres. Eyebrows raised beneath his cowl, Batman listened carefully to his friend's tale. He had been involved in many bizarre mysteries, but this unusual story intrigued him. Batman knew that there were not many things in the universe that could harm or weaken the Man of Steel. When he learned that Superman had been overcome by the strange golden glow, the Dark Knight grew apprehensive, though he didn't share his concern with Superman. I'll meet you at the Watchtower, Batman said. We can use the science labs there to investigate the box. Exactly what I was thinking, Superman said. I'll contact John and fill him in. See you there. Batman mumbled, his nimble mind already running through the details of the case as he slipped from the rooftop, descending once again to the city below. Okay, so there's a page break there. So let's see. So we've got Batman. We have man number 1, man number 2. Man number 3 is named Jim. Then we have man number 4 and man number 5. The Gotham City Police Department is mentioned, though no specific characters, but I will put a note of them regardless. And then let's see. Then we had Superman again. And then we had Superman mentioned Jean. So I will make a note of him. Jean Jones mentioned. All right. So I think that's all the characters there. Nothing I can think of to keep it non-canon. In-show events, it kind of alludes to World's Finest, as well as Secret Origins. So there's that. Let me wrap the text. Ba-doom! And mentions of time. For many years, the Man of Steel and the Dark Knight had teamed up. So, excuse me, which that's actually super helpful because we know World's Finest happens in 1999. So if we take many years to mean more than 2, with Justice League ending in 2002, that would place this there. So let me, I guess, do other clues. Likely in 2002. Anything concrete? I guess the Watchtower is mentioned. The Justice League is mentioned. So it's definitely after Secret Origins. No pop culture, no weather. So we're good. Back to the chapter. Orbiting above the Earth, the gleaming space station known as the Watchtower functioned as the headquarters of the Justice League. Filled with state-of-the-art, high-tech scientific military and surveillance equipment, the Watchtower offered the heroes a safe meeting place and a research facility far more advanced than any available on Earth. And yet they used one on Earth in Justice League versus the Fatal Five. I'm on to you, book. Funded by Bruce Wayne and built by his Wayne Enterprises Corporation, the station's science labs contained the finest equipment and the combined knowledge of planets throughout the galaxy. The Justice League's private space shuttle, the Javelin 7, was available to all members for transport between the orbiting station and Earth. Cutting its main... So if someone used... Is there only one Javelin 7? Because if someone used it to get from the Watchtower to Earth, but there were other people still on the Watchtower, are they stuck there? And what if the Javelin 7's not on Earth? Then how do they get up to the Watchtower? There's got to be. Did they have boom tubes or not? The transporter wasn't added to the Watchtower until Unlimited, right? I don't know. Cutting its main engines and firing its retro boosters, Batman eased the Javelin 7 into the Watchtower's docking bay. The experienced pilot, who had flown everything from his supersonic bat plane to the one-man Whirly Bat mini helicopter, gently set the shuttle down, switched off the engines, then scrambled from the cockpit. Did we ever see the Whirly Bat mini helicopter? That sounds familiar, but I'm blanking on if we ever saw it. Was that in BTAS? Meanwhile, Superman flew through the space under his own power. With the mysterious gray box tucked safely away in his cape, the Man of Steel didn't need a vehicle to navigate his way past Earth's atmosphere. He did, however, wear a small tube-shaped breathing device about the size of a harmonica, which Batman had devised for underwater use, but which had been modified to allow Superman to breathe in the vacuum of space. If Batman had stuff to breathe underwater, why did Terry not have that one episode? Hey, that would be something you build into the suit. Although I can't imagine that Batman didn't have something like that throughout the present day. So I don't know. I guess that's not really a continuity error, but kind of weird. As the docking bay doors hissed shut behind him, the Man of Steel quickly made his way through the Watchtower's maze of corridors and levels, arriving at a science lab just off the station's main observation deck. Batman was there, waiting along with fellow Justice League members J'onn J'onzz, also known as the Martian Manhunter, and the Flash, the fast opportunity to give the group's leader, or anyone for that matter, a playful hard time. You may be faster than a speeding bullet, but apparently you're no match for Batman in the JAV-7. It wasn't a race, Flash, Superman replied with a forced smile. Though he did not show it to his teammates, he was still somewhat shaken by the powerful force he had unleashed within the box. The Man of Steel, so accustomed to shrugging off attacks with his invulnerability, had never gotten used to the idea that there were forces in the universe capable of causing him harm. Allow me to have a look at it. Allow me to have a look at that, Superman, J'onn said. The Man of Steel pulled out the box and placed it on a flat scanning device. Flipping the switch, J'onn activated a scan ray, which moved slowly over the box, analyzing its structure. You say your X-ray vision could not see inside, J'onn said. That's right, Superman replied. My guess is that it's made of lead. That is a correct assumption, J'onn said, checking the structural analysis of the metal box. Adjusting the scanner settings, J'onn switched the device over to its magnetic imaging capability to view the contents of the box. On the scanner's view screen, the four heroes saw the image of a magnificent golden crown encrusted with jewels of every color. Nice hat, said Flash. I mean, it's pretty and all, but why all the fuss? Since when are we in the jewelry business? It is not simply a hat, as you put it, Flash, J'onn replied. The sensors indicate that the crown is emitting powerful energy of an unknown nature. Why would an old man in Metropolis be running around with a golden jeweled energy radiating crown? Superman wondered aloud. Perhaps we should open it, J'onn said. Considering what happened to Superman when he opened it, do you think that's wise? Batman asked, unable to mask the concern in his voice. Maybe not, Superman said, bracing himself. But I'm kind of curious to find out what this is. If we are all agreed then, said J'onn, the Martian Manhunter opened the lid and removed the golden crown from within. Blazing energy radiating from the headpiece flooded the room with brilliant yellow light. Its many jewels shimmered in the multicolored beams, extending outward, sweeping over the walls and ceiling of the laboratory. Once again, the Man of Steel felt his powers drain, growing weaker by the second as hideous and frightening images filled his head. Terrible scenes also raced through the mind of his Justice League comrades, blood-soaked visions of war and devastation. As a telepath, J'onn J'onzz experienced the horrible images more intensely than the others. After only a few seconds, he hastily dropped the crown back into the box and slammed the lid shut. Batman and Flash each grabbed an elbow of the slumping Superman. I'm all right, he said, his strength quickly returning. What's up with the end of the world slideshow in my head? Flash asked. What's up with the end of the world slideshow in my head? Flash asked. Those visions of terrible destruction, J'onn began. They were quite powerful, and yet vaguely familiar. Is it possible that the crown contains kryptonite? Batman asked. That would explain a lot. No, J'onn replied, reviewing the breakdown on his scanner. There are some stones with which I am not familiar, but no trace at all of kryptonite. I think it's time we learned where this crown came from, Batman said. My thoughts exactly, Superman added. We need to head back to Earth. I'm game, added Flash, and I can cover a lot of ground quickly if we need that. Batman nodded. Jean downloaded all he had learned so far about the crown onto Batman's mini-computer, then handed the Dark Knight a photo of the mysterious golden object printed from the image of the view on the view screen. I will remain here and continue to run more tests on the crown, Jean announced. Good luck. Superman, Batman, and the Flash headed for the docking bay and the Javelin 7. So that's the end of chapter 2. Let's see. So John Jones isn't just mentioned, but we actually end up seeing him after the page break, and then we get the Flash / Wally West. Let me put his name before his superhero identity, so it's kind of the same as how I did with Clark. I guess I should add Bruce Wayne to my Batman entry. Bruce Wayne / Batman. Non-canon. There was a couple things. The Watchtower has the best available science lab, but JLV Fatal 5 has them take the time bubble elsewhere. And then what was the other thing? There was another thing that was bugging me. Oh, Batman's breathing apparatus. Batman apparently owns an underwater breathing apparatus, but there isn't one built into Terry's suit. Also, that apparatus is used by Superman to breathe in space instead of his spacesuit. Let's see, it alludes to World's Finest as well as Secret Origins. Batman has a whirly-copter. As far as in-show events, I don't remember if that was an in-show event, but it sounds familiar, so I'm going to put it with some question marks. Let's see, passage of time. There's like a couple minutes, like a couple mentions of like seconds passing, but I'm not gonna deal with that. Concrete. I guess John Jones is technically concrete. Despite getting the Flash all the way back in Superman the Animated Series, that's not concrete. It's the first time we see him on screen, but it doesn't say this is the first time that he's ever been introduced to, the Justice League or to Superman or to the world. So he doesn't count as anything. Pop culture, weather, other clues. So I guess that's it for there. And what you guys got going on in the chat? Looks like you guys are all on something. Oh, something's better than my lowest. Hold on. Where are you guys at? Or where am I at? This is something that should be a video series on the main channel, Q&A series that gets animated like other vids on there. Takes care of a lot of little questions. Yeah, I talked to James about potentially doing these live streams on there. I don't know if maybe he'll want to take edits of something from here and turn it into a video series or not. So I'll leave that up to him, especially since he's the one that animates, as you say. I know animation takes a while with a team, and with just James doing the animation, I'm sure it might take even longer. So I don't know. I don't know how that will go. Are you reading the reboot of Dial H for Hero in your free time? I'm not. I haven't picked up new comics in like the past couple weeks. My financial stability is really crappy right now. The food truck I worked on broke down for a while. And while they were still paying me like the hours that the truck would normally have been open, I wasn't getting paid for the hours that like I would have been working in the kitchen before the truck opens. So it kind of screwed me up. And then like on top of that, my girlfriend's job just recently let her go. So we're both kind of looking for more employment so that we don't deplete our savings entirely. And as a result, I just haven't had a chance to get to the comic store and grab, more books to put on my plate. I actually haven't even finished reading the stack of books from the last time I was at the comic store. Blah, 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 blah. Hell yeah. That wasn't a bad Batman voice. Not perfect, but not bad. It hurt my throat. And I think it's just because of the congestion and everything. I've been recovering from a cold for the past couple weeks. I don't know why the recovery process is taking so long, but it is. Better than my Lois. I wasn't trying on the Lois. I was actually trying to do Batman, but Lois, I wasn't really given too much to. And honestly, I don't think I could do Lois justice. Dana Delaney is a wonderful voice actress, and like I get her voice stuck in my head when I read Lois, but I can't emulate it, and I'm not going to try. There was some Loisness to the lilt and attitude. Yeah, see, I'm more than trying to emulate the voices. I'm trying to give the attitude, at least when I can tell that it's from that specific character. How does his cape survive getting so close to the sun without burning to a crisp? Honestly, now that you mention it, Superman should be naked by the end of Justice League versus the Fatal Five. That's it, dude. We should have started with naked Starboy and ended with naked Superman. Are we for sure they're tall? Maybe they're short and stout. I think aren't orcs the shorter ones? I'm not talking about like the tallness of them though. I'm talking like the wideness of them. Like if he's wrapping the cape around them, it would have to be like wide enough to wrap around the width of two orcs. So it's or ogres, I guess. So I don't know. So this is during Justice League, not Justice League Unlimited, right? Yeah, it seems to be that this, like, with it saying that that Superman and Batman have been working together for multiple years. It seems like this would be after Comfort and Joy, but before Star-Crossed. I'm not sure if there's anything else to contradict that. If there is, it can easily be moved back into 2001, and we can just take the mention of many years to be 2 years. Maybe there's the Harley Loves Joker mini series where Joker says something about like Harley having been with him or him had been alone all these years before Harley comes around, but like by the math, it can only be 2 years. So, you gotta take stuff that's not concretely mentioned with a grain of salt. Then again, Jean is still there before he left the league. Yeah, like I said, it's probably towards the end of Justice League. What decides who gets the well, Superman apparently doesn't need the javelin, so that's all we know. Some can fly with spacesuits that cuts down on who needs the jab. Yeah, I guess Hawk Girl can fly, Jean can fly. Superman apparently didn't need a spacesuit. He just needed this little harmonica thing. Space rebreather. Yeah, that's wild. Whirly Bat, is that now canon? The Whirly Bat might be canon. Was it not in BTAS? Because I feel like it might have been in BTAS. I want to record audiobooks for these now. So many fun voices. That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Or at least I'm recording the audio of this. James says he doesn't want to be responsible for editing it, but like since I have a background in like music and stuff like that, I'm versed in audio editing. I know enough to just like at least clip things out. So I might go back in and edit this as audiobooks. I might even like redub over where like I, tripping over myself. Um, what are you editing? I was editing. I've got a spreadsheet that I keep notes on specific like DCAU tie-in entries. That way, we have like a full list to reference whenever we wanted to dive into stuff. I talked about it a lot towards the start of the live stream. You could probably rewind and catch up there if you're more curious about it. Not canon, not now. There totally is in the call. Bat Scuba, that is. Wait, what about the Bat Scuba? I'm not at that point of the conversation anymore, so I don't know. I used to have this novel when I was 11 years old. I have it when I'm 28, and I've had it. I don't know how long I've had this. I feel like I picked it up at a used bookstore like back when I was still in high school, and I just never got around to reading it. Copter and Ultimatum. Huh. So I guess he's used the... So if the copter is an ultimatum, I get that would have to be after this. So I guess he's had it for longer than then. Cough, Barry Allen, cough. Yellow umbrella tattoo. I liked the finale. So when I watched the How I Met Your Mother finale, I was at a friend's house with my girlfriend at the time, and the entire time, like I was crying my eyes out, and then it hit the last 5 minutes, and there's a lot that just felt wrong about it. Not just from a story telling perspective, but my first complaint is that why would you have Josh Radnor show up in that moment rather than Bob Saget? Like, all of the narration with the kids has been Bob Saget's voice. So to jump to Josh Radnor's voice was very jarring. And then I understand that they had to, film the kids segment beforehand, since the kids were aging faster than time was moving in the show. So I get that they had to do that, but the editing between the clips of Josh Radnor and the clips of the kids were just really, really jarring, because you could tell that they were recorded at separate times. It would have made so much more sense for them to have recorded Future Ted at the same time, if they were going to stick to the ending that they had already written. It just like like why do his parts later? There's no need for it. Just because he aged, just use Bob Saget. Just put Bob Saget in the finale. That's all you had to do. But I mean, the storytelling wise, it's grown over me, or like it's grown on me over the years. At the time, it felt like a weird, like I had recently gotten, well, not recently, but like I had been in a relationship that like had been the longest relationship I had at the time, and we were constantly like on again, off again. And so to me, like dating someone I guess kind of new in my life, like being hit with that ending, it felt like like, oh, things happen and you don't grow as a person, and you just go back to where you were. And that was kind of sour at the time. Nowadays I can kind of accept it more as a like, things happen, and sometimes you're lucky enough to still have people there for you, that cared deeply about you in the past. So it all just, I guess, depends on the frame of mind going into it. But at the time, it was pretty sour to me. I got the tattoo long before the finale ever happened, and like at that time, I was just like, oh, ooh, I have this. But like I don't care. I love the tattoo. I love the show. I need to rewatch it at some point. I just got Hulu because I switched my Spotify account to a student account to save money, and they gave me free Hulu. So I'll probably rewatch How I Met Your Mother sometime soon. P.S. Wally West's origin in the comics is also chemicals and lightning, so it's not too far-fetched to say they both had the same-ish origins. I know it's not Barry, but still, LOL. A cold. Yeah, I was dealing with a cold for a while. I got over the cold itself. If you're in the Discord, like I said at some point that like my girlfriend and I both had temperatures of like over 100. I think 2 weeks ago. And the congestion has just lasted ever since then. I checked my temperature last night and it was 98.0. So hot Epsom salt bath. I took a hot bath. I don't have Epsom salt. Once again, I'm poor. I will say this until I die. If it doesn't hurt your voice, it's not a Batman voice. I wonder if Kevin Conroy's gotten over how the Batman voice feels. A red enchilada. You have to take into account that some of this is dumbed down for kiddos. Batman has had rebreather technology since the early days of B-Test. Okay, so then it's not a continuity error, but it like people bring up nitpicks that have answers to them in previous canon material, such as like Superman breathing in space in Justice League versus the Fatal Five. So it's still worth noting down. That way it can be brought up later on. You had said that Terry had never had a rebreather, but he did it in at least the call. No, I didn't say he never had a rebreather. I said there was the episode where he didn't have a rebreather. He was later given one after that episode. So that was like hey, he doesn't have the rebreather here. He has it here. Continuity kind of thing. But it wasn't built in originally. I'm thinking it was Lost Soul, I think, where the robot takes over the bat suit and tries to drown him. Well, the rebreather was for water, no, not space. I mean, there could be a difference. So it did say in the book that this was for water, but was repurposed for Superman to use in space. The Ben 10 syndrome. The not growing as a person. Yeah, I still haven't watched Ben 10 yet. If that's on Hulu, I might watch that soon. Agreed. Production / execution problems, but the storytelling choices were on point. Yeah, definitely. The storytelling in How I Met Your Mother was always great. I understand people's complaints of killing off the mother because like. It's the whole women in refrigerators thing. Basically, Tracy just serves as a purpose to tell Ted's story about how he wants to get back with Robin. So it's kind of like it's kind of a bummer in that. But at the same time, I'm not entirely against the trope. I think it should be used less often, but it does mirror real life. So to say it's off limits entirely is, kind of insane. Well, it is, let's see, it's 5:20 or 5:17, I guess. And I think we're recording the podcast at 6. So I'm not going to have time for another episode or another chapter because I do need to do some preparation for the podcast. So I think I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. It's been about an hour. There's 10 of y'all watching. If any of y'all have any last comments or anything, you can drop them in now. But if not, I'm going to go ahead and get off. The Kid in the Power says Lost Soul. Correct. So yeah, so I was right on that. No more comments are coming in. So I'm going to guess that we're good and that you guys have had a fun time. I'm going to try to keep on schedule of doing these every Wednesday around 4. But like I said, I'm looking for more employment, especially with summer coming up and me being out of college again. So the schedule might change a little bit. But for now, just expect this to pick up again next Wednesday at 4. If not, I will put notices on my Twitter, which you can follow. It's just at Matty Washburn. just, so you guys know, I get political on there, and a lot of people don't like their YouTubers being political, but I was raised in a political household, so it's part of my nature, and you'll have to deal with it if you want to follow me there. If you want, or if the Twitter's not going to be your thing and you want updates on, what the schedule will be for this, you can always reach us in Discord. I don't have the shareable link to rattle off right here, right now. I think it's in most of the Watchtower database descriptions in the videos on the channel, so you can reach us there. But yeah, as for now, the next one's going to be Wednesday at 4 p.m. as well. Hold on, a couple more comments came in. Fair enough. Thanks a lot, Maddie. Have a good day. You have a good day as well, Greg. This was a great thing to head to sleep listening. Well, I'm glad you're getting your nighttime story read to you. It's not sleep time for me quite yet. It's only 5:20 over here because it's Wednesday. Good stream, man. Good stream to you as well, Bot Boy. Dentune says a Vanishing Point comes out tomorrow, right? No, there was a Vanishing Point last week. So the next Vanishing Point will be next week. I'm planning to record that tonight after the podcast. Trying to keep busy. I figured like with the whole stream of revenue thing, that maybe if I keep busy doing Watchtower database work, like a lot of things at once, then maybe, just maybe, it'll get more ad revenue or something in here. I don't think this channel's monetized right now, so I don't think the stream's gonna do much of anything for me. I don't know. I'll have to double check all of that, because like when I started this channel, it was just me just posting updates on what I was doing in the day, and most of the times it was just me just saying, "Hey, I'm busy." But now that I'm using it for this, I might monetize this channel. That way I can get a couple bucks off of ads or I guess super chats if anybody feels like sending them. But like the stream's not large enough to, I guess, justify anyone sending super chats, because I can easily like read and catch up. But yeah, so new Vanishing Point is next Thursday, and I'm just gonna keep trying to stay busy with Watchtower database stuff. I've got a show that I pitched to James that I was talking about, that rebirth continuity thing earlier, that might tie into that show. So they're possibly at some point in the near future, instead of just the Vanishing Point on that channel, I'll have 2 shows. But it's a lot of the expansion stuff's kind of in the works. We don't really know what's going on with it right now, because James is like super busy with the movie he's doing, as well as like we don't make enough money right now to hire another editor to come in. Jay's been doing some editing, and so we've got him and James both doing editing, but we don't have money for like a third editor to do more videos. So I don't know. I don't know how soon that new show will come, but it's in the works. We've got a couple things planned. I'm hoping that we can get it going by the time that the HBO Watchmen series hits. But that's all I'm going to say on that. Looking forward to that rebreather Vanishing Point. I don't have one on rebreathers, at least not right now. I don't know if that's an interesting enough topic that people will click. I'm trying like, I know there's some that like I've done that aren't super interesting, like the Harvey Bullock one, for instance, I think is the lowest watched one. I think the Amanda Waller one is pretty far down there as well, which sucks because like that was an interesting one for me to research. But I've got to be able to find things that are going to click with a wider audience. So I don't know if rebreathers will be a video or not. Good luck with your financial woes. I hope you can find some employment and stuff. You and me both, Keep your head up, comrade. I love the Harvey Bullock one. Well, I'm glad somebody does. I've got a whole spreadsheet of our analytics and stuff that I try to update like once a week. And I'm pretty sure that's the least viewed one. It was either that or like the Statics Age one, because it was like the very first one, and like we didn't have a lot of people. I use the Harvey and Waller ones for notes. LOL. Hey, more power to you. For real, two of the best ones. The Waller one's so fun. It's like I didn't think that there would be so much to go into, but it's like, who really cares in the grand scheme of like, DC Comics? Like, meh, Amanda Waller's not the biggest character. Every time you make a vanishing point, it's a data dump I take notes on for my own project. Well, that's good. I'm glad you find use for those. Because there's definitely like a lot of interesting stuff to dig up. We've been trying to consolidate like all the notes from the vanishing point and our timeline episodes and everything to build a timeline page for the Watchtower database website. But once again, that's another thing that like we're such a small team, we don't know when that's gonna come out. Hopefully soon. I've used DCAU wiki and everything as a source for forever, like for the better part of a decade now. But it's getting to the point where like things are kind of clashing with them, and I'm of the mind of I would rather use objective notes rather than like how subjective and like how iffy they are on things. I don't want to badmouth them. They've been doing the job for forever, but it feels like they don't want to do the job anymore. And when you look at like their nitpicks on new DCAU stuff versus stuff that they've already accepted on their on their stuff, it feels like there's a bit of a disconnect in how they treat the material. Let's see. Will we be doing an ideal watch order once we have? So for me, the DCAU timeline. Oh Jesus, it's almost 5:30. I'm gonna have 4 minutes. I'm gonna get through the rest of this in 4 minutes, and then I gotta go because I need to prepare for the podcast. Will we be doing an ideal watch order? The initial plan of me doing the timeline at all was to have a watch order. So yes, that will be coming. I think what we'll do is probably like by production / airing order, and then a full chronological order once we have that nailed down. It's difficult to get it nailed down though. Like some stuff, like we're only going to be able to be like, oh, this happens in 1994, but this also happens in 1994. Which comes first? I don't know. So it'll come eventually. But yes, are you using Weebly, WordPress, or what for the site? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the back end of all that. Most of the website has been done with by Mark, who is Digital Jedi on the Discord. Him and James know more about that than I do. I think James gave me like a login to look at the back end, but I don't remember anything much about it. I remember once getting the notifications for the Vanishing Point coming home from college and just grinning. I think it was the Harley Scarecrow one. There's going to be a little bit more Harley and Scarecrow in the next one that's coming out. I won't say much more than that, but there's a little Harley Scarecrow action going on there, which I loved that one too, because it's nice coming across a theory that I didn't make up all by myself and being like, oh, this actually kind of checks out, rather than having to tell people that they're wrong. I'll tell people that they're wrong when I need to, but that wasn't the time I had to. Sorry, I keep wiping, not wiping my nose, but scratching my nose. I've always gotten like shit like from people saying I'm picking my nose, but like that's not picking your nose, it's scratching. I don't know. I've got pretty bad cat allergies, and we have 2 cats, and I just like cleaned the house, like vacuumed and swept and everything. So there's a little bit of cat hair in the air. Mirror Universe is out. I think that's the timeline. Kind of the timeline and a watch order will be kind of separate, because the timeline's gonna have things broken up into like this part of the episode happens here, this part of the episode happens here, you know. Whereas a watch order will be like watch it like this. That way you get the experience of how things happened in universe, and the flashbacks are still attached to whatever. The timeline would certainly make it a lot easier to create an ideal viewing order, but they're not quite the exact. Yeah, that's what I said. Thanks, bye. Sneezes with 4 legs. Exactly. But anyway, it's 5:29. Looks like all the questions are coming in for now. So I'm going to go ahead, get off of this, and start prepping for the podcast. Love you guys. I will see you all on Discord or Twitter or you know, in the next Vanishing Point. Or actually, the next episode of this will happen before the next Vanishing Point. So you guys will see me then for sure. Unless, like I said, there's a schedule change, which, by the way, you can check the Twitters, check the Discords. But I'm going to go ahead, hop off, get ready for the podcast. Y'all have a good day, and I will see you guys later. Stop, bro.